Hello, I'm Collin and you're watching Magic Strawberry Reviews, and today I will be reviewing Shadow of the Colossus, Remastered Edition. Shadow of the Colossus begins with a character named Wander who travels to a forbidden land on horseback with a girl named Mono, who is dead. He very much wishes to revive her, but a voice in the sky tells him he must defeat 16 gargantuan beasts, otherwise known as Colossi. Wander then receives an ominous warning that he will pay a great price in exchange for the resurrection of Mono and the slaying of all 16 Colossi. Nevertheless, Wander sets out to kill the only remaining population of the Forbidden Land, while the game constantly tries to make you feel guilty for doing so. I have tried playing Shadow of the Colossus in the past, but the muddy graphics and borderline unplayable controls always hindered my experience while playing, and I have never got more than a half hour into it. The newest remastered version, however, improves the game in almost every conceivable aspect. The visuals improved tenfold, the environments are breathtaking, and even though it gets kind of boring traveling in between each boss battle, at least everything looks nice, so it somewhat provides a distraction. In most graphical overhauls, most developers only add better lighting, but the added details Bluepoint added to the Forbidden World ensures that this is not the case. From individual blades of grass to how the light drips through the trees when you ride through the forest, or the portals that form in the sky every time you defeat a Colossi, the graphics are absolutely awe-inspiring. They are definitely up to the standards of what we expect in 2018, and oftentimes I forgot that I was playing a game that was more than a decade old. The environments may look nice, but the thing that takes the cake in terms of visuals are the Colossi. Especially their beautiful eyes. There's something about them that just brings out a new humanity in them. And you do actually start to feel bad about wiping out the only species left on this land for your own selfish needs. But seriously, these things are drop-dead gorgeous. Everything from the realistic looking fur to the rock fragments protruding from their bodies. I mean, their physiology may make absolutely no sense, but that doesn't detract from the eye-dazzling spectacles that are the Colossi. The only thing that didn't improve visually, however, is the main character. I mean, Wander is just the worst. First he steals this sword, then he travels to a land that's literally called the Forbidden Land, like you're not supposed to go there, but then he does. And then he goes and kills 16 beautiful Colossi just to resurrect one person. All of this, and he has the audacity to be the only ugly looking thing in this game, when it was supposed to be a total graphical overhaul. I mean, how dare he? Anyways, even though traveling in between each battle may be a bit of a drag, the battles themselves are anything but. You only have 3 tools at your disposal: your sword, your bow, and your horse aggro. You'll have to master all 3 to take down each Colossus, whilst figure out each of the puzzles pertaining to each Colossi. Not only that, but you'll also have to keep an eye on your grip meter while climbing them, which is made all the more difficult when one tries to shake you off vigorously and rambunctiously. Whether you're jumping on board to a flying Colossi, climbing one's beard, or jumping on one's sword, I mean, you'll definitely feel bad for killing these things, but at the very least you'll have fun doing it. Especially since the controls are a little less awkward this time around. Mechanically speaking, the game is a bit repetitive. You shine your sword in the sky, follow where the light goes, get to the Colossi, figure out how to climb it, stab them in their weak spots until they die, warp back to the temple, repeat. This is the same exact process for every boss battle, but luckily the campaign is relatively short, so it's not too grating. But it's also worth pointing out that there isn't much to do in this open world. The minimalism of the world definitely adds to the charm of the game, but there is only one real objective in the whole game. You don't interact with any other characters, nor is there any enemy types besides the Colossi themselves. Regardless, this game is a masterpiece. There is an undeniable cinematic quality to Shadow of the Colossus that only a handful of games has been able to match 13 years since its release, which is only amplified by the overhaul of its visuals. Few games take a hold of you the way Shadow of the Colossus does, especially when you're gazing at their horizons when riding through the map, or when the music swells when battling a Colossus, only for it to stop abruptly once you've killed them. It's also downright heartbreaking to watch your character slowly being ripped of his humanity as he advances through each Colossi. With each life he takes, he loses a piece of himself, and even if you fundamentally disagree with the protagonist's motivations, you can't help but feel for him. And I won't spoil anything, but the emotional climax to this story is nothing short of brutal, but it's also one of the most powerful moments I've ever seen in gaming. It reaffirms that video games are an art form unto themselves. With all that said, I give Shadow of the Colossus a 9 out of 10.